All right, looks like we're rolling. Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is you, Capricorn. This is Tarot Lumination, and this is your mini generic love and relationship report for November 2018. Okay, so you know the drill. You've been here before, most likely. So watch for your sun, moon, and rising if they're all different, and reinterpret it all to suit yourselves. Also, do the cross-watching for significant others. Also, please invite your invisible friends to join you as you absorb this reading. You know, your angels, archangels, guardians, all of it. It really, really helps. That's what we do here. Cards are well shuffled in advance just so that you know. But we go to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. People ask, but you know, this is just how it is. We do it on this channel, okay? Now, before we get into the cards, I want to do a little bit of astrobabble here from Tarot Lumination, and I'll just jump into it. I'm not going to put a lot of emphasis on this for this particular report because you can get the really broad spectrum stuff much deeper into the astrology on the general reports. It's a whole other playlist, okay? But just for now, just for Capricorns, we're going to focus on 3 dates. Okay, so already we got the new moon Scorpio. Okay, so that's very comfortable for you. It's a nice sextile. Big deal happening. We got Jupiter and Sagittarius. That's great, wonderful for everybody in some way or other. Maybe challenging for others, who knows? But in generally, it's a very optimistic thing. Uranus has moved out of Taurus for a little while. So it will affect how things operate in your terms of like true love and romance over here. But I'm not going to emphasize this. The North Node is moving into Cancer, your 7th house, but we're not going to emphasize this. What we're going to emphasize is more about how you feel through the month. So I've picked out 3 dates. It's all to do with the lunar transits. November 11th and 12th, the moon is transiting through Capricorn for a couple of days. How you feel about yourself has a tremendous impact on how others feel about you, okay? 7th house, one-on-one relationships. 5th house, love and romance. Also, my feeling is that when the moon transits through here, it'll bring up a lot of shadow, fear energy, subconscious energy about anything and everything that's not working for you. Perhaps feelings of weakness or self-doubt or anything like that. Next, November 21st and 22nd, the moon will be transiting through Taurus over here in your 5th house, true love, okay? So how do you feel during this transit? Please pay attention. How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel that others are perceiving you when it comes to love, okay? And then just make a note of it. I'm not telling you what to do or how to do it. These are just key trigger moments for the month for you, okay? Next, November 25th and 26th, the moon will be in Cancer over here in your 7th house. Okay. So again, where that moon lies, you might feel a sense of doubt, deep sense of lacking in self-confidence, wondering what's happening or not happening when it comes to the really significant relationships here on the relationship axis, like the marriage, the business partner, the contracted one-on-one chosen relationships. This over here is more about the true love. This is more about you and love thyself. But either way, please pay attention to those key dates. All right, I'm just putting there on the calendar for you. Okay, you got that? Got that? Got that? Well done. Good. Okay, let's move on. Let's just get straight to the cards. Also, what I'd love you guys to do is please consider a Tarot Lumination membership. It's this new thing we just started, and it's your way of saying thank you for real. It really is already starting to make a difference here at Tarot Lumination. The better things work for Tarot Lumination, the better things work for you. And TL membership is one of the best things you can possibly do to say thank you to Tarot Lumination for these readings, okay? Also inviting you to join us on First Friday group healing events. Check out the links below, okay? And the buttons on the end screens and everything like that. Also, thank you so much for everyone for all your subscribes and likes. It really does help. And for newbies, please jump on it. Please, it really, really helps. We really got to stabilize and grow the little channel. It's still like a little baby, and it's very, very demanding. and we need lots of nutrients. Let's put it that way. All right, Capricorn. Cards are well shuffled. Here we go. We're going to use the crucible spread, by the way. It's on the understanding that there's you, Capricorn, a significant other or a potential significant other, and a third entity, the relationship itself, okay, which has its own mission, purpose, energy, life, okay? And in a loving relationship, people are typically very conscious of the relationship as an entity in itself, and they conduct everything through the entity. The crucible, I think of it as a crucible, a bowl structure, which is designed to withstand intense pressures as we intimate and separate. Intimate and separate, okay? Over here, what are you transmitting? Think of yourself as a cell phone, not in text, not in browser mode, but speaking. So you can talk over them, they can talk over you, transmitting and receiving simultaneously. What about the significant other? What about deep down inside of you? What about deep down inside of them? What about at the core, the relationship itself? Here is the crucible. From the top, this would look like a bowl, okay? A bowl-like structure in which you guys conduct your relationship. So what is the nature of this relationship? What is the structure? Is it a leaking sieve? Is it strong and durable? Is it flexible? Is it cracked? What is it? Over here, what are you growing? Think of this as a living thing. Think of it as a business. Are you investing? Is it growing properly? Or are you divesting? Is it crumbling? Think of this now as circumstantial environmental influences. I like to think of it as weather, and we'll start the reading. Okay, with the Fool here. Okay. All right, so you may be going blind in some ways. Not going blind like losing your sight, but feeling like when you come into this November season, there's some big changes that are happening. A lot of signs have been dealing with the Leo Aquarius axis, the Scorpio Taurus axis, which have been sometimes very hard angles, very stressful with the fixed signs. But a lot of that is shifting now, and we're going into this new Jupiter thing towards the middle of the month, and we've got a really strong Scorpio new moon, and then we got the full moon towards the end of the month. Big shifts, okay? Big shifts in energy. So you might be feeling like what does it matter to y'all? If I go here, what's the difference if I go here or go there in relationship? I mean, what does it matter? Like, it's all fated, it's all destiny. Why am I even here having a reading from you, Tarot Illumination, at all? And then Tarot Illumination says, well, listen, my feeling is that it's kind of like this for everybody at some point, where we literally don't have a clue where we're going, how, why, or when, or with who. But that's the beauty of life. We wake up fresh and anew every day. Sometimes people wake up, they've been in a 10-year relationship, they roll over in bed and they look at the person next to them and they think, who on earth are you? How did I ever get into this situation? And sometimes, a week later on the weekend or the Sunday morning lie-in, they might roll over and look at you and feel the same way. And then there's your opportunity. What do you do now? All right, let's have a look. What are you radiating here? Let's have a look. Tower. Okay. So, if you want to, you can be really scared about all this. But from Tarot Illumination perspective, the beauty of the Tower, it's one of the most powerful healing cards in the deck, simply because everything that is no longer yours or relevant in your life just gets kind of blown away, whatever that is. Now, this is a love and relationship spread and a reading, typically for a significant other already in play, but it could, you could, reimagine this for singledom. And with the shifts that are going to be happening, you might already be sensing in your body with, okay, let's go back to the charts. I should have said this. The big Capricorn, let's do it over here, excuse me. November 7th. The North Node is moving into Cancer. It's a 1.5-year journey for the whole planet. We're probably going to have to do a whole playlist just about this alone. Then that affects you radically, Capricorn, because it means the South Node moves into Capricorn, okay? So the Cancer-Capricorn axis is going to be well lit up over the next 1.5 years, okay? So it's going to affect you and how you operate in relationships. And key dates, we'll come to this in other readings, are going to be during the eclipses, the Cancer-Capricorn eclipses that are coming mostly in 2019. So you might already be sensing this. You already might be getting, those I don't know. Do you know how cats and some animals can sense earthquakes and big shifts and changes way in advance of human beings? Maybe you're getting some of that now in love and relationship, where you can feel certain components of yourself like falling apart. I'm not saying the relationship, this is about you. What are you radiating? If you're radiating the energy of really profound, uh, let's say, implosions, cathartic changes in a ways that are like inevitable, where you feel the ground coming loose under your feet, so to speak. Like just imagine tectonic plates, tectonic plates, and sometimes they go like this, and you're trying to straddle both sides with your feet. No. Okay, eventually something has to give. Or sometimes tectonic plates move like this. Either way, it means like irreversible, irrevocable changes. And that can feel very, very scary at the inner guts of your soul. You do have Pluto and Saturn moving through your chart here, but these are very deep, long-term transits, and you might not notice them on day-to-day basis, but they're here and they're very powerful, okay? And this will be emphasized, especially on the Cancer moon transit over here. So please allow for that. The Saturn energy and the Pluto energy are putting tremendous pressure on Capricorn, the individual, to go through these cathartic, cataclysmic changes. And maybe this is starting to reverberate into your love life. Over here, what about the significant other? Okay, Five of Cups. So this is generally felt as a card of sadness and grief. Now, whether this is expressed, whether it's actually part of this relationship, it's another matter, because this is your energy, this is their energy, and this is as individuals, okay? We haven't got into the relationship fully itself yet. So when I see the Tower here and I see the Five of Cups here, I do sense grief, some sadness and deep remorse. And what might be happening is that you're relating with an individual or potential individuals where, because of your cathartic changes, they have almost no choices except to feel this way. If your cathartic internal changes are having a radical, irreversible effect on your love life, let's say in a way that does not work for them, this could feel very painful to them, like they're losing you. The grieving, like, you know how couples devolve and kind of fall apart? They can create these massive structures like marriages that are kind of like businesses or love lives. And over time, everything starts to become automated and everything has all the appearances of relationship, but the heart and the core and the soul has started to wilt and fade, and like what we call the love has died. And we're looking for like salvation and renewal. But at this point in time, they're probably, it looks like they're deep in the thick of it. So again, what are they expressing it, or that's a whole other thing. Typically, people can feel it. If it's really serious, Capricorn, it might be that there's less and less and less chance that this will be communicated. In other words, you could be in a relationship where there are profound shifts that are happening for you, that are in some ways sad for them, which can ricochet back to you, which amplifies the cathartic events here, to the point where everybody starts living as if everything becomes like going through the motions of love and relationship, where everyone has their established roles and patterns and habits, and they just act them out according to a script. But no one here is addressing what's actually going on. It seems like it's almost too much to handle. So let's have a look deeper down inside of you. What's going on? The King of Wands. Well, my feeling here is that you're doing everything you can to maintain your self-respect, your dignity, your passion, your drive, your commitment to self in such a way that no matter how cathartic these changes might be in your life, you're not going to let it destroy you. You're not going to crumble because of all this. And instead, looks in some ways, you're going to grow strong. In some ways, you might be, let's say, like almost like the defender of the relationship, whatever that nature of the relationship might be. And if they can't handle it, then that's kind of their problem. At least you're maintaining your dignity. And like, I don't want to diss the other person here or, undermine the sense of relationship. But with these kind of cathartic changes going on and your determination at the heart and core self, the inner self of you to keep your inspiration alive, it's almost like having greater commitment to the relationship, like the love and the structure and the things that you guys own as a loving relationship. Like if it's a long-term relationship or even a short-term relationship where there are these cathartic changes happening in you and it's triggering something like this inside of them, or even if they're just having their own period of grieving for something else which has nothing to do with you or the relationship. Either way, it can be very, very hard to live around this, for anyone to live around this energy. So if you're with your sweetheart and they're falling apart, they're coming unglued in some way or another, and they're struggling with it, it could be that you're doing it's almost like you're doing all the work now to maintain the love and the fire in the relationship. Almost like if you have to, you will protect the relationship above and beyond indulging someone in their sentiments. Okay, so that takes a lot of courage, because sometimes we just want to pander to someone else's emotions. But with you, Capricorn, it looks like it's like you're determined to be strong, maintain the light, maintain the inspiration, no matter what. I don't think the other person here is aware of the goodness they have right now. It's almost like whatever it is that's grieving them, it's almost overwhelming to the point where it's like, to me, it feels like shock, because there's a lot of energy of shock and awe that comes with the tower here. And whatever is happening with you in your life, in your world, and if it's impacting them in such a way that's causing grief and sorrow, perhaps there is, how we go in relationships as we intimate and we separate, intimate and separate, intimate and separate. Maybe there is a little bit of this going on, okay? Separate to the point where there's almost nothing there. And that can feel very, very painful for the other party if they have a lot vested in this, or they've been used to being like this, and you're used to being like this, whereas right now you are individuating in such a way that is cathartic and irreversible, which might appear to be separation. And you separating from them basically means they have unwittingly been separated from you. That could feel very painful. They might be grieving about what appears to be the loss of love in a relationship here, but no one's talking about it. What's going on at the core side of them? Okay. Well, to me, this is like against all odds, literally. It's almost like they are doing everything they can to hold up under very, very arduous conditions. Like they might have so much invested in the relationship themselves, and it just has not worked out, or it's not working out in a way that they could have ever planned or wanted or imagined. And yet things are the way they are. That's just the laws of the universe. Everything is exactly as it should be, and it can't be any other way. So whatever's going on with the other party here, Capricorn, you might have to allow that they're in a very weak and tender spot right now, and they're doing in their own version way of trying to maintain their respect and dignity and passion and keep everything going alive, because they have tremendous respect for the relationship itself, even if at the very personal level, man, woman, boy, girl, partner, partner, spouse, spouse, marriage, old marriage, young marriage, commitments, responsibilities, contracts. If they're even day to day through the months, if there's a lot of disparity here, it doesn't mean the end of the relationship. It just could mean that you guys are going through a very deep, cathartic, transformative period here. And that wouldn't be surprising, frankly, if we just drift back to the chart here for a moment. Let me just point out a couple of things. You've got the Scorpio new moon over here, new beginnings, intense new beginnings in your goals and dreams for life, and how that's going to work in the greater community. So how that's going to affect your love life, it's it's the opposition over here. It's like the reward section. What's coming out of your love life, and how does that look to you in terms of the rewards that you get for having a good love life and relationship? Okay, over here with the Jupiter and Sagittarius thing, this is a huge expansion in your 12th house energy, where it's a chance to look deep, deep, deep into what needs to be healed. You got to reveal it to heal it. And Jupiter there through your 12th house is really going to open up the gates to all your like habits of self-undoing, like the kitchen drawer, the basement, the attic, the dumpster, and the spiritual dumpster in the backyard. All of that will become exposed. We need to get going here. What about the relationship itself? Okay, well, it looks like the relationship is very contracted, very binding. It would be like, a marriage against all odds, a marriage no matter what. Like, in other words, the relationship is a binding relationship. Nothing good or bad about that. It's just the devil card is very, very binding. And it's very much in the material, physical sense of things. Doesn't mean it's, sexualized or there's drug addiction or anything going on. I'm just seeing the binding going on between the relationship here. It looks like there are some very, very strong bonds, but the bonds are under great duress because of personal matters with yourself and a significant other. I mean, you are individuals, but you're living this in the context of a relationship. And the relationship looks like it has the fuel that it needs, but there's a lot at stake here. And it's very, very, because of the binding nature of the relationship, that can impact you, like what is actually happening in this relationship. Same thing for them. And they might feel that the bindings are extremely tight or under extreme pressure right now. Just like what happens in couples when they're going through a stormy patch or a difficult patch in a marriage. Okay, prospects over here. Okay, my feeling here is that to be careful with the Emperor energy here. I mean, the desire would be to prevail against all odds. And I think this is mostly about the relationship itself rather than you, Capricorn, or a significant other, where if it means that you, Capricorn, and the significant other have to go through these cathartic changes, total discombobulations in order to mature and grow and evolve, then so be it. We're contracted. In other words, it's just like, hey, honey, I love you very much. I know you love me. You love me very much. We've got all this thing going on, and you might be sad about this, and I'm going through cathartic that. But remember, we have this thing. Okay, we're contracted. We signed a contract. Okay, we signed a contract. And those are very serious things. Okay, so with the Emperor here energy, my feeling is that in this state, to me, it looks like a state of duress. I think the Scorpio energy is very delicious for you. But I just think with the Pluto and Saturn aspects still grinding deep, deep away at the depth of tectonic plates in your love life and mostly with yourself, it's affecting everything else in your life. The cathartic changes that are happening to you on the surface and the depths of your soul are impacting everything else around you. And it can, in some ways, bring out your power, bring out your magnificence. But also, you take that too far, it brings out the energy of omnipotence, dictatorship, absolute power, and the desire to completely dominate and control. And it's almost like force the relationship to be, to go according to the contracts, no matter the misery that might be going on over here, no matter the cathartic changes going on. It's like an old-fashioned type of marriage structure where we're married, we're structured, we are bind, we have this thing no matter what. Okay, so I'm kind of seeing that here. I mean, it's nice to have the encouragement of the Emperor here, which almost makes you bulletproof, Capricorn. So in some ways, that's what I'm seeing. But this is kind of shared energy as well. Okay, we're allowing for a significant other. This is not a couples reading. It's all about you, Capricorn, and we're allowing for the significant other here. So what is happening with you, Capricorn, deep down? What kind of cathartic shifts are happening, and what kind of intense pressure is this relationship enduring right now as you intimate and separate, intimate and separate? What's happening with you? Please pay attention to those dates and see how you feel at those times. And I wish you the best. All right, Capricorn. I'm not going to say anything more. I think we've said enough here. Okay. All right. Thank you for choosing Tarot Illumination. Bye bye. All the best.